All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the first video brainstorm. I'm really excited about getting able to talk about some nerdier meteorology things with you, and weather and science and whatever else comes to mind that's kind of in the weather earth science sphere. And hopefully we'll have some fun and we'll learn some things, and video is a great way to do that, so I'm glad that this gets to be a part of the Brainstorm with Matt Gray newsletter with some video elements. So let's start off with kind of digging a little bit into why we're seeing the severe winds that we are expecting as we go into Monday afternoon. So first of all, if you've been looking at the rest of the newsletter, then you'll know we've got some pretty windy weather on the way as a cold front drops in tomorrow after a very windy day on Sunday. On Monday, we're going to be looking at the potential for even windier weather and perhaps severe winds and damaging winds. Generally, when we talk about severe winds, we're talking about winds that hit over, say, 58 to 60 miles an hour. That's kind of the break point that they use in the National Weather Service for storm warnings, for example, in the summertime. And we can certainly see winds gust that high, and the reason why that's kind of the break point there is that upper 50s and into the 60 plus mile an hour winds is because when it gets that high, it starts to cause a lot more damage. And so that's what we're worried about as this front comes through around all these areas, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, and then many places south, north, east, west of the Spokane and Kootenai County Metro. So why is this happening? Well, we have to start off with what we've been seeing over the past few days, which is very warm weather and very wet weather. And people call this an atmospheric river, the Pineapple Express. Reason why they call it Pineapple Express is because this comes all the way, this stream of moisture that you see in your screen here, following the jet stream winds higher up in the atmosphere. This comes all the way from Hawaii. Hawaii is known for growing pineapples, and that's why they call it, why it's nicknamed the Pineapple Express, especially for those of you who are a little bit older. You probably know this as the Pineapple Express here on the West Coast, or close to the West Coast at least. So the issue that we have here with this is it brings a lot of warm air and it brings a lot of moist air. That's why on the west side, on the other side of the Cascades, there's been a lot of flooding. They've had to do water rescues, all because of this atmospheric river that has moved north of us and is actually dumping wet weather into Canada at the moment. And so underneath of this stream of moisture is very warm air, and that's why it's been so warm throughout the weekend. Now, you can notice there's some low pressure off the coast, and this low pressure system, this storm, this cyclone is going to strengthen very quickly in this warm, moist environment. And another reason why is because on the other side of this river of moisture is much colder air. So temperature contrast and how the atmosphere balances out those temperature contrasts, that's really all that weather is. That's all that it is. And so what we're going to see here with this very cold air in the Gulf of Alaska and this much warmer air that's been brought north by this atmospheric river, well, now we've got some conflict, and that produces stronger storms. It produces stronger storm systems and stronger winds as a result. And so you'll watch as our very warm air mass battling with that cooler air as this storm evolves. Well, now the cooler air is going to win out eventually and swing back into our area for the rest of the week. But where you have those temperatures very close together, over just a few hundred miles, that can drive the winds and make them very, very strong. In fact, if we look at the wind speeds out ahead of this storm, on the front side of this storm, which is where we are right now, the wind speeds up at about 5,000 feet, 4,000 to 5,000 feet, are very, very strong. And when we look at these, we say, when we talk about wind gusts, we go, well, with a lot of up and down motion in the atmosphere near these fronts, like this cold front that's going to be coming through in the afternoon on Monday, there's a lot of up and down motion as well. And so we would look at these 5,000 foot level winds and we go, well, reasonably, we could get some of those winds that translate down to the ground, and then all of a sudden you can see there 70 miles an hour. Well, we could easily see wind gusts over 60 miles an hour as this front passes through Spokane on Monday afternoon, and those are severe winds. And so that's why you're seeing what's going on with these high wind watches. Likely become a high wind warning on Monday. And really, this is kind of the situation we have with these storm systems when they develop very quickly. And this one happens to be moving over our area. And the high temperature contrasts here in the fall, in the spring, and even in the winter season sometimes. One of the reasons why we're very susceptible to these kind of wind events. And lo and behold, we have another one on the way. So high winds on Monday, more tree damage, more power outages, and with this front passing right in the evening commute, it also means we might see some trouble on the roads as well. So definitely be careful. Now you know a little bit more about why this is happening, and hopefully we can avoid some really heavy impacts, and some of those really strong winds higher up in the atmosphere can stay up there, and we can keep our winds more akin to what we saw today, where we only see just a few of those power outages. Thank you for joining me on this first Brainstorm video. I'm sure we're going to see things kind of evolve and become different over time, but really appreciate you joining us, and have a really great rest of your weekend and rest of your week. We'll talk to you again soon.